Well, now to politics, where Donald Trump has some very busy days ahead of him leading up to his inauguration. The president-elect is well underway in establishing his future White House team and plans once he does get into office. This, of course, included a trip to Washington, and that's where we find our Errol Barnett.
I just had the opportunity to have an excellent conversation with President-elect Trump.
During the closing moments of their first one-on-one meeting Wednesday, President-elect Trump was complimentary toward outgoing President Obama.
Very good man.
But questions remain over how much of the Democrats' achievements the Republican will reverse.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
While campaigning, Mr. Trump promised to repeal Mr. Obama's landmark achievement, Obamacare, which extended health insurance to 20 million Americans.
We will be able to immediately repeal and replace Obamacare. Have to do it.
But during his White House meeting, the president suggested Trump consider keeping some key provisions of the Affordable Care Act.
Whether it's health care or immigration, so many different things.
An array of issues were mentioned when Trump met with Republican majority leaders in the House and Senate Thursday, touring where he'll be sworn in and plotting his first 100 days in office. This was followed by the announcement of key appointments from his own trusted inner circle. Replacing Governor Chris Christie, Vice President-elect Mike Pence will chair Trump's transition team, leading a list of vice chairs, all of whom are in consideration for leadership posts. Retired Lieutenant Army General Michael Flynn is in the running for National Security Advisor. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich is a possible pick for Secretary of State. And Christie or Mayor Rudy Giuliani may head up the Department of Homeland Security.
I can see already how he is going to be a great president, and I'm glad I could play a small role.
Now, Trump's chief of staff will be a very telling choice. He could go with Republican favorite, RNC Chairman Reince Priebus, or he could select his former campaign CEO, Steve Bannon, who was formerly with the Breitbart website, a favorite of the alt-right and white nationalists. Depending on which person he selects for that job could tell us if he's willing to work within the confines of Washington or be more irreverent. And we should note that RNC Chairman Reince Priebus was seen at Trump Tower this morning. Trump's adult 3 children are also a part of his transition team, but it's also been said that they will be managing his many business interests as well. So there is a potential for conflict of interest there, Rena.
Yeah, walk us through that, Errol. I'm curious about the conflict of interest and what it looked like for the Trump children to have one foot inside their business and one foot inside the White House. Are there any regulations against something like this?
Well, legally speaking, Mr. Trump can collect business income while in the White House. There is a law by the Government Accountability Office, the GAO, which prohibits federal employees from doing so, but the president is exempt from that. Typically, what happens is to avoid the appearance of a conflict of interest, presidents will put their holdings into a blind trust, put their estate, their financial wealth managed by people they don't know into a third party. But the challenge with Mr. Trump and his empire is that it includes real estate, licensing deals, which deal with Mr. Trump's name in and of itself. And so that's more difficult to put into a blind trust. As he was campaigning for president, he did say in interviews that he would hope to allow his children, Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and Ivanka Trump, to run the Trump organization. But even as he described it, he said, I'm not sure if that really qualifies as a blind trust. There is a law as well by the GAO which prohibits relatives of the president from overseeing blind trusts for those serving in the executive office. So that would only be an issue if he plans on appointing a relative to the executive office. But on Thursday, while he was meeting with outgoing President Obama, his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who is married to Ivanka Trump, was seen meeting with Obama's chief of staff. So there is remaining questions as to what type of conflict of interests may emerge once he becomes president and officially appoints his staff, and that's in addition to his many domestic and foreign holdings, as well as the 75 lawsuits against or filed by Mr. Trump. So this will certainly test the limits of what conflict of interest really is here in Washington.
A lot of uncharted territory we'll be covering. Errol Barnett in Washington. Errol, thank you.
You got it.